Lady gets annoyed when I call my aunt and uncle mom and dad by user Hapalami 78,625. Here is some important background information. When I was 3 years old, my father, unfortunately, died in a car crash, leaving my mother alone to take care of me. But with the death of my father, she spiraled into depression and she became an alcoholic, and the alcohol addiction opened up to a drug addiction, and that's when my father's family stepped in and with the help of the courts removed me from her custody, and from there I was put into the care of my aunt, my father's sister and uncle, and they eventually adopted me after my mother passed away about a year later. So I've spent most of my life living with my aunt and uncle, and during middle school I started to call them mom and dad. It just feels right to me, and no one in my family has an issue with it, or at least they haven't said anything about it. Until this weekend. I'm going to refer to them as mom and dad for the rest of the post. So this weekend we went to spend Memorial Day weekend at my grandparents' mom's side. They have like a 2-acre plot of land, so it is common for my extended family to go there on special occasions and holidays. Well, this weekend I got to meet one of my cousin's fiancé. It was my first time meeting her, and I am not going to lie, she was a bit obnoxious and she came off a bit spoiled, like she seems like the kind of person who would announce a pregnancy at a wedding. On Saturday, me, my mom, dad, cousin, fiancé, aunt and uncle cousin's parents were sitting at a table outside in a backyard chatting, and the fiancé looked at me and said, "It's crazy how much you look like your mom, like you look nothing like your dad." She then said to my dad, "You sure she is yours?" The joke flopped hard and my dad and cousin gave a courtesy chuckle, and my mom spoke up and said, "Well, she is my brother's daughter. He died when she was 3 and her mom couldn't take care of her, so we've been raising her." The fiancé then said to me, "Oh, but you called them mom and dad like a few minutes ago." I replied, "Yeah," and everyone was quiet for a second. The fiancé broke the silence with why I was a little confused and a bit annoyed and said, "Because I can. It is what I want to call them, but that is weird. They re not your mom and dad." I don't like it. I was fed up with it by now and said, "Oh, okay, I'll make sure to write that down in my notes." The table was silent and it was super awkward after that, and I dismissed myself from the table and went to hang out with my grandma. I thought that the whole situation was over, but the next morning I walked into the kitchen and my mom, grandparents, and the fiancé were in there, and I walked up to my mom and hugged her and said, "Good morning, Mom." After I said that, the fiancé looked at us and said, "I already told you I don't like it when you call them that. They're your aunt and uncle, not your parents." My grandpa said, "It is none of your business what the girl calls them. Mind your own business." After that, she didn't really talk to me much, but she would give me weird looks whenever we were in the same room. Hopefully, I won't see her again for a while, and I kind of feel bad for my cousin who has to deal with her. Sorry if this post was long or boring or brief, but thanks for reading. My parents are demanding that I let them stay with me on their next trip. I am in my mid-20s and live in a different state to my parents. Boundaries are a foreign concept to both of them, and they've always viewed me as an extension of them, rather than my own person. My parents plan on visiting the state I live in next month and are demanding to stay with me. They didn't even ask if they could stay. They told me that they were staying with me and refused to accept otherwise. I am a medical student currently living in a tiny studio apartment. I don't have room for anyone to stay with me, nor do I want anyone staying here. My course load is overwhelming, and I need a quiet place to study. I work part-time and pay for everything myself. Despite them being self-made multimillionaires, they have refused to help me financially since I moved out at 18, which was a nightmare ordeal filled with years' worth of guilt trips, emotional blackmail, the works. I live in one of the most expensive cities in the world, in a country where the cost of living is a crisis point. I struggle to pay for essentials each week. Nonetheless, my parents feel entitled to stay with me for free because they raised me. I put that in quotation marks because they were neglectful and largely absent throughout my childhood. I had to essentially raise myself from the age of 12 onwards, while also being heavily parentified and forced to fulfill the role of a spouse to my father. I had to grow up very fast, and my relationship with my parents is damaged as a result of not only this but also the extensive abuse they inflicted upon my siblings and me. I have told them that I can have them stay with me, but they won't have it. I am worried that they're going to turn up with their luggage and force themselves into my home. I don't want to have to call the police on them if they turn up, but I can't have them stay here. What should I do? Parents let daughter sing over an airplane intercom by user a novel race in 1333. A Delta flight was delayed 2 hours, and so a child began singing "How Far I'll Go" over the airplane's intercom. Several people on the flight recorded the incident and shared online how frustrating it was. I don't blame them. I am sure that after being on a delayed flight for hours you were already tired and not in a Disney sing-along mood. https://ember.com//kgvdvha. Edit. A Delta Airlines representative came out and supported what the girl did. A Delta Airlines spokesperson told Newsweek, "We appreciate the customer sharing her talents and apologize to our customers for the delay in their travels. My dad flew off the handle after I accidentally fell and doubled down, saying it was a bit even when I told him it was not." By user Cute Shark Studios. This happened just as I got home from work. I had been standing for hours on end and just wanted to go to bed, but my father stood me in the hallway to yap at me about how I'm following patterns. He started getting upset, which stressed me out, and combined with my foot pain I accidentally fell. He screamed at me saying I was doing a bit to get out of the conversation, even though I have never done that, and then started throwing another tantrum. We got into a massive fight, and he even shoved me a few times. During the yelling, he started downgrading the time he yelled at my sister a few months ago. He claimed that she kissed off and was too sensitive, but when I saw her before she left, it looked like she was about to cry. All that over a wrong address for groceries. My father has always said I was too soft and that I'm not ready for life, even though I have been looking at apartments in my area and how much life costs, as well as trying to get some side income in case college doesn't work out. What should I do? My mom is mad because she didn't go to my kid's soccer game by user xHellaFriends. My kiddo who's 6 started soccer about a month ago. Practice is on Tuesdays and then games are every Saturday. I group chatted my family and my husband's family a picture of the layout of the fields and a game schedule. I told them in advance if something would change, we would let them know, but anyone is welcome to come. I am pretty close to my mom as my dad died when I was a baby. She is very hands-on with my 3 kiddos but favors my oldest as he is the first grandkid to her. This past Saturday my brother decided to come to the game. I spoke to him the previous day and he was the one who brought up going. When I spoke to my mom about her weekend plans, she said she wanted to tend to her garden and it was her weekend off. No mention of the game, and I didn't mention it as I was busy trying to manage all the kids after work and getting dinner started. Well, apparently when I was feeding the kids lunch before the game I missed her call. I didn't check my phone. I lose it frequently as I have ADHD and 3 kids who constantly need help with things. I get to the game a few minutes late and meet up with my brother. He is helping my kids with something when my phone starts ringing and he answers it and my mom is screaming at him to put me on. I ask her what is up and she accuses me of not inviting her or letting her know the schedule. And it is my fault she didn't come as I didn't answer a phone call which she was going to question the time of the game. I apologize about missing the call but go into detail on how we were running behind, but she just started screaming at me. Then she goes, "You can tell your child it is your fault I didn't go." And then hung up on me. A few hours later I tried texting her explaining that I was sorry I missed her, there is plenty of other games in the future, and that I did send everyone the schedule. No response. She told my brother that I did it on purpose because I didn't want her going. I don't even know how to proceed. We haven't talked since the call. I already apologized for missing her call but I don't feel like I did anything wrong. She tends to get mad at us frequently. It is very stressful as I have a newborn 2-year-old and a 6-year-old. Life is hard right now, struggling everything.